We have some huge Red Sox moves incoming, as with September call-ups here. A report reveals some major Red Sox updates as to who will be on their way to Boston soon. We'll get you the latest Red Sox news right here, right now on Red Sox Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. Want to remind you to hit that subscribe button. We are still closing in on that 5,000 subscriber mark. In fact, we are just 17 away. I guarantee you there are 17 of you watching this video right now that have not yet hit that subscribe button. So if that is you, go down there and hit it for free Red Sox content on the daily. Let's talk about it. September call-ups are here, with September starting tomorrow. What exactly is September call-ups? If you're not familiar, let's get you a little bit of a rundown. On September 1st, every Major League roster expands from 26 to 28 men. Teams are allowed to call up one hitter and one pitcher who are on their 40-man roster. September is generally considered a time for teams to give players who are either prospects or who might be ready for the big leagues or fringe roster players a tryout. End quote. So tomorrow, the entire MLB will have 2 extra roster spots in which they can add a pitcher and a hitter that are currently on the 40-man roster, or somebody that can be moved to the 40-man roster, but in turn, you're going to have to obviously release somebody, figure that one out. There's a little bit more of a strategy with it, though, when you're a playoff team, and especially for the Boston Red Sox. This is from Brayan Bello of Fansided, saying, quote, "While a team that is out of the playoff hunt may opt to call up 2 prospects and give them some major league game time to see if they're ready for the big leagues next season, teams in the playoff hunt are more calculated with their extra roster spots." End quote. Okay, so with that being said, there are a couple of different options for the Boston Red Sox, but a couple of criteria also needs to be met with either player. In terms of the hitters, you're going to need somebody that is going to be helpful, most likely on the infield. Your outfield is at a very good spot. You've got Roman, you've got Cedon, you've got, along with Masataka Yoshida, you have Wilyer Abreu coming back here soon, so the outfield is in a good spot. Don't need it there. The left side of the infield is Alex Bregman and Trevor Story. I don't think you really need a third or shortstop, as long as they stay healthy, that being a caveat, of course. So you need a first baseman or a second baseman or somebody who can play that position, or at least play in those positions at times, and somebody who is going to help on the hitting side of your lineup as well. And so let's start with the hitting prospects, and we obviously know the first one. It's the obvious choice. It's Kristian Campbell, and there's a couple of big reasons why he would be the main option for the Boston Red Sox. The first one being that he has major league experience and major league success. In May, he had one of the best rookie months we've ever seen. And yes, it fell off, and he didn't look exactly the greatest, and it led to him being sent down by June 10th, or maybe it was April, not May, his better month. But either way, besides the point, he had a very good month at the major league level, and then just fell off the cliff. Since then, though, he's been in AAA, he's been trying to get right, and he has been doing a pretty good job of it. If we look at his MILB stats this season, kind of zoom in here a little bit, you can see his average is at .265, an on-base percentage of .382, and an OPS just shy of .800. While those stats don't, exactly blow you off the board, it's not something that's like, oh yeah, we got to call that guy up. There's a little bit more to it than just what those stats are right now. We go to Brayan Bello again with his report on why Campbell would be a good choice, saying, quote, "Campbell has been heating up lately. The righty was sent down to Worcester on June 20th and struggled to find his swing for about a month. But from July 19th to August 12th, he hit .370 with an OPS over 1,000 in Worcester." End quote. He also had a hit streak that was like 15 games, the most in Worcester history, so the hitting is there. The confidence is back. The big question about him is the defense and whether or not he is going to be a liability out there at first or second. And I say first because we have this again. Brayan Bello saying, quote, "He has played over half of his games at first for the Woo Sox. And the Sox could look to give him a try in that position in the majors this September." End quote. So, Kristian Campbell. He can play second base, although not well. He can play first base, again, although not well, but we've seen enough of him. He can play there. He has a pretty good bat. It seems like his confidence is back. He's played in the major league level, and in a lot of ways, when you have a player like Kristian Campbell, who is overwhelming top prospect, you're going to, bring him up, and then he struggles. When he goes down, it takes a little bit for his confidence to get back. It's hard to get sent down after doing so well in the majors and then just falling off the cliff. You need a little bit to get that confidence back, and he did. And probably the biggest reason of them all, this guy has an extension. he is going to be here in Boston for a decent amount of time. So with that being said, he makes the most obvious choice. When we talk about other options, though, for the Boston Red Sox, there is a couple out there that could be one. A pretty decent one is Nick Sogard. He is a pretty good option. Brayan Bello is a fan side saying, quote, Sogard has been up and down for Boston the last 2 seasons. While he doesn't hit the ball hard, he gets on base, a lot of singles, walks. He can play all across the infield, and being a switch hitter allows for some lineup flexibility, end quote. Nick Sogard was most recently up literally on Friday when Peyton Tolley debuted. This was, of course, when Nathaniel Lowe was on paternity leave. They immediately sent Sogard back down when Lowe came back up. I don't think that Sogard should be the answer. I think especially because your roster is expanding, I'm looking more for players who are going to stay here for the long term and for the rest of the season, whereas Nick Sogard to me is a bandage. He's going to come up here, he'll fill a hole, and then when they don't need him anymore, they'll send him back down, which maybe that's how the Red Sox use these 2 roster spots, and it's just kind of an option to pull someone back up and down. But personally, if you're given the extra roster spot, I think the right move is to have somebody that will come up and stay up. So that's what I would say in terms of Nick Sogard. I don't think he's the one that's going to come up and stay that way. We move on to pitching. A couple of criteria here for the pitching guys. You'd like to have somebody in the starting rotation, to be honest with you. Dustin May has not looked good, and although Peyton Tolley, the debut went as well as it possibly could, he ended up giving up 2 runs. I still expect him to be in that starting role, so there is an open spot on Wednesday, though, and a certain pitcher got scratched from his start. Kyle Harrison. Now, this name probably reminds you of the Rafael Devers trade, and right now it's not looking so great for either side, to be really honest with you. Devers hasn't really helped out the Giants all that much, and for the Red Sox, Jordan Hicks has probably done more hurt than help. In terms of the other prospects, Kyle Harrison was one of them, and the Red Sox have been working on a couple of new pitches down in AAA. Maybe the time is for him to come up. So I think in a lot of ways, it would be a perfect mix for Kyle Harrison. If you look at his stats here, you're going to be able to see that in the majors this season, he had a couple of games pitching with the Giants. His 4.56 ERA was definitely a formidable thing. A whip of 1.27, though, was nice. In the MILB, it's been a different story. The ERA is lower, 3.58, but his whip is higher because he continues to walk people. And if you listen to Section 10 or kind of follow minor league baseball, especially in the Woo Sox, you know that Kyle Harrison's problem is he's somewhat of a Walker Buehler type. He likes to walk a lot of people, and he's done that a lot in Worcester. So do I think that the Red Sox should bring him up? Yes, because he is going to be a long-term fit. The only problem with him, and in a lot of ways the statement as to why he has not been brought up yet, is really simple. He has not exactly looked amazing down there in AAA, and so if he gets called up and doesn't go well, then where does his confidence go? What exactly happens? Is he going to be somebody that the Red Sox, first of all, they might trade him this offseason. That's a very formidable option. But is it going to break his confidence? Is he ever going to be able to come back and be normal? Like it's a very tough thing, especially for a pitcher who was in the majors pitching for the Giants this season and then had to be sent down to AAA when the Red Sox got him because they wanted to work on his pitching. Now, the opposite side of that is what if he comes up and does fantastic because he needed a little bit of, hey, I'm in the majors. Like it's the same thing with Kristian Campbell. Sometimes it's hard to play down there in AAA because you know what the majors are like. And the AAA, it's not anything close to the major leagues in terms of talent, in terms of, be really honest, the assets, the training. There's a lot of stuff that is different. Now, minor league baseball has definitely gotten a boost in travel, hotels, all that stuff. But still, nothing compares to the major league level. So in some ways, especially when you're in San Francisco and then go to Worcester, it's not that far from Boston, but he'd like to come up and pitch for the Boston Red Sox. So I think he should certainly get a shot, but there's also one other option for the Boston Red Sox, and I think this one's probably a little more likely for some help down the stretch, and that is David Sandlin. Now, Sandlin is an interesting type because he was originally a starter, but he has now been moved into a bullpen role. Most recently on August 21st and 22nd, he pitched his first ever back-to-back. This season in the minor leagues, he has a 4.21 ERA and a whip just shy, or just at 1.30, I believe is that one. Got a lot of strikeouts, a lot of innings pitched. He'd be a very effective guy to have in the bullpen. And the question for the Red Sox is, what is more valuable? Is it a starter or is it a bullpen armor? You ask me, and if you ask a lot of fans, I think it's going to be a starter. But maybe the bullpen is where they end up going. Brayan Bello is a fan-sided saying, quote, the righty pitcher has moved from the starting rotation to a relief role during August. This has been an attempt to make him a potential weapon down the stretch, end quote. If they were preparing him to be a weapon down the stretch, and then September call-ups come and they don't pull him up, it's an interesting one. But the big caveat with Sandlin is he's not on the 40-man roster. So to get him on there would need to be somebody that has been, released, cut, whatever you want to call it. But that's coming, right? That's somewhat it's coming. The Sandlin, he's going to be someone who is not on the 40-man roster, but according to Brayan Bello here, he is eligible for the Rule 5 draft this winter, which basically means other teams can come in and draft them away. Now, obviously, if there is a player with knowledge of the Sox farm system, expect it to be protected. So they're expecting Sandlin to be protected. The Sox giving him a shot down the stretch seems like a likely option, end quote. So if you ask me, I think the options they should pick, in my personal opinion, are Kristian Campbell and Kyle Harrison. But we just saw the likely option seems to be David Sandlin. And for the Red Sox, it seems like the likely option might be Nick Sogard. He's the most likely option because they already have plenty outfielders, and he would allow for the Sox to give everyone across the infield needed off days before the playoffs, end quote. There's also talk, of who exactly could be up. Nate Eaton's been helping out in a lot of ways, and maybe he stays up. It's hard to tell who exactly is going to be the one picked on the offensive side. I would love it if it was Kristian Campbell. He's been playing so well, and I think it's time, and especially with that extension, just give him a shot, because at worst, it doesn't perform. You send him right back down, and he's spending the rest of the year there. But it's the same thing with Harrison and with Campbell. It's more about their confidence, I think, than anything else. And if they come up and they don't perform, that's going to hurt them way more than him coming up and performing well would help them. So it's a question, but it's a question for us Red Sox fans to debate until we find out in literally 24 hours, whatever it ends up being. So let me know down in the comment section. Who would you like to see the Red Sox call up? Is it Kristian Campbell? Is it Nick Sogard? Is it Eaton? For the pitching staff, is it Sandlin? Is it maybe Kyle Harrison? Is there somebody that I haven't mentioned that you'd like to see called up? I'd like you to let me know down in the comment section. But that's all I got for you today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time here on Red Sox Digest. Peace out, guys.